All right, excited to get Houston in here this weekend, and we're going to wear our throwback alternate uniforms that resemble the 1950, 55, and 56 Bud Wilkinson teams. I know our players are they'll like running around in those. Obviously, we know uniforms don't win for you, so don't want it to be a distraction, but certainly it's a great opportunity for us to honor some of the former great teams here at Oklahoma. We had 12 players that played started their first game for us last week, 7 on offense and 4 on defense, and Keltner in the kicking game. Thought those guys all performed well at times, and other times, they're got to get better. So Coach Willie Fritz and his staff are coming in here this weekend. They lost a tough opener to UNLV. UNLV played really, really well and controlled the game, running the football, possessing the football. Really think Houston has an aggressive, physical, disruptive defense. They've got a couple of former Sooners on their defense as well, and they brought a couple of several transfers, but a couple from Tulane where they played excellent defense. Number 2 and number 5 are really good football players, guys that have played a lot of football. I believe they have roughly 17, I think, players in their 2 deep that are seniors, and then several others that are juniors. Only, I think, 3 freshmen that are in their 2 deep. So it's an older team, but it is a new team. Over half their team is brand new. Coach Fritz's teams, the last 2 years, they're 10-0 in true road games. So he knows how to get his guys ready. The last time they were here representing Tulane at the time, obviously it went down to the wire, and we were able to pull it out 40-35. Coach Fritz and his staff are really known for being well coached and incredibly disciplined, patient. I'm going to play a tight game, try to get it to the fourth quarter, try to possess the ball, run it a variety of ways, and take their shots. And excellent in the kicking game. Really, really good. They've got some real playmakers in their kicking game, return game in particular, really explosive players. They've got explosive players on offense. Donovan Smith is a guy that's taken over 1,600 snaps in the Big 12. Big, strong, and athletic, and really dangerous. And they've got a couple of their backups that are very similar, almost clones to him. Big, strong running back, and again, long, explosive receivers and tight ends. So ought to be a good matchup, and certainly a step up from where we were a week ago.
We'll start in the middle aisle. Eric Bailey.
Phil, I want to ask you about a certain player, Pettaway. We talked about the wide receiver position. Can you talk a little bit about him? You mentioned him about being a little versatile, can play inside, outside. What can he bring to this offense, and how much does his versatility allow you to maybe depend on him or contribute a little bit more?
Yeah, he's fast. He's got a good catch radius. He's really a explosive player. He had a hamstring injury the last few weeks. It just kind of kept him from being full speed, and even going into last week, we didn't know what his availability was going to be. And but he's ready to go. And he can play inside and outside both. And so I think he's got a chance to have a really good career when it's all said and done.
Mm-hmm. Go down the line, Ryan Avery.
Yeah, Brent, we talked to Trace Ford last night. He talked about some of the difficulties in getting this defense down as a new guy when he came in last year, and how long that took him. Got obviously a lot of new faces on that defensive line. What is it about what you ask those guys to do that makes it sort of difficult to get down, and how those guys, Dominic and Jaden in particular, been able to overcome that?
Well, again, some people it's more difficult for than others. you're learning a brand new system, whether it's offense or it's defense, whether it's at Oklahoma, or it's anywhere. There's a challenge, because you're not familiar with it in any way. Not the language. You got to learn a new language. You got to learn the techniques and how we're going to play things. And so I just think there's a learning curve no matter where you go. Whether it's what is the degree of difficulty. You named two guys that one got here in June and the other got here as a true freshman in January, and they were the two starters, and they played pretty good. So I don't know what it is. Again, I think some people pick things up a little quicker. Some people are a little more diligent than others, and but I couldn't tell you, what those additional hurdles might be.
Barry?
Did you have a follow-up?
Well, just some of the things that you do with moving those guys around and things. Obviously, defenses do that a lot. But is there anything specific about what you like to do up there that makes it maybe a little bit more challenging, or is it just?
I don't know. I don't know how an offense, might look at it. We might do the exact same thing out of, 3 or 4 different looks. And so our presentation at times can maybe create some challenges. The coach might know, but the player, doesn't necessarily see it that way. So to me, there's a lot of simplicity that looks complex. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Brent, you talk about the uniform. Some coaches, when they come in and take over a program, they get into all kinds of stuff, like logos on the field, uniforms, all that. How much of that did you do? Stuff, as you said, doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean, I've not requested to do anything. So if it's been put across my desk, I'm a pretty good teammate. So if the powers that be that request that we want to do something a little different and honor, maybe again Coach Wilkinson and some of his teams, I think that's great. What do I need to do? And it's pretty simple for me for the most part. So.
Jenny?
Right, when you decided to hire Doug Deakin to coordinate special teams, what was sort of your goal with that hire in general? And then with Doug in specific, what made him the right guy for that? It seems like we're seeing some pretty good early positive results with, especially your field goal kicking.
Yeah, well, the number one goal was to bring in somebody, obviously, that could make us better. But really, I know the numbers didn't necessarily say so, but schemes, philosophy, structure, communication skills. I felt that, we were in a really good place. So I want to continue to build on, foundationally what, we had already started, and obviously somebody too that could help us, get better. Who could be the best vessel to improve, continue. Again, Elzinga punted really well last year, and our snappers snapped the ball really well the last couple of years. And then how could we get better at place kicking? And then again, having a philosophy that's very similar to what we already had, aggressive and multiple. And again, having somebody that was a good teacher and a good communicator, effective, and could relate well with the players and get the players to buy in, be excited about special teams. So Doug had a long pedigree, just at really for the most part at one place, but a high level of success and consistency, and couldn't find anybody that had anything bad to say about him. Only incredible things, and again his if the tape is the resume for the players, it certainly is for the coach, and he had an excellent resume over a long period of time. But just I liked his energy. I liked his passion for special teams. Believe it or not, some people are doing special teams, but they'd like to get in and be a position coach is what they would rather do. And that's fine too. And there's a lot really successful guys that do that, but I wanted somebody that was really passionate about, doing all things special teams.
George.
Yeah, Brent, two-parter for you. First of all, how is Troy Everett doing? Is he close to getting back for you guys?
He is.
And maybe this week or a couple weeks? Or?
He's close.
It's close. Mm-hmm. Secondly, that center position, it seems like you guys have had some just bad luck injury-wise. Several guys just kind of banged up there. How difficult has that made it for the offensive line just to be cohesive when that guy in the middle just hasn't maybe been available to you guys?
The ball goes through him every snap. So obviously that's a really, they're all important positions, but getting that position, where it needs to be is having somebody available there is really important. So we're working through that and like where we're at, from that standpoint, and expect us only to get better there.
Ron Chapman.
Brent, Freddie had noted forced 4 fumbles last year, the 6 fumbles total. What did you see kind of from those plays that's like replicable from week to week? Was that just a bigger emphasis this offseason, things like that?
No, not a bigger emphasis. I think when you have returning experience, they're going to play more aggressive, more sound, more sure of themselves. They're going to have better angles to the ball. You're year 3 into the system. Very few new players. Guys that are forcing those fumbles are guys that are, several of them in their 3rd and their 4th years here at playing college football. So I think, again, positioning is really good and effort is really good. Again, the guys, they're playing really hard and aggressive because of all the things I just said. And guys taking a lot of pride in their opportunity. Good things happen when you play with great effort and you're physical.
Middle left, James.
Brent, you lost a couple of receivers, but Emmett's recruited really well there. And Nick Anderson, you hope gets back soon. What's his status? But what about some of the young guys you have in this program at receiver that that were highly thought of when you brought them in?
Yeah, Nick will be back sooner rather than later. And again, young guys are gonna have to grow up, quick. And so I know we know who all those guys are. You saw Reagan's in the game. You saw Kearney in the game. You saw carry on a little bit. Certainly Pettaway still just a sophomore that didn't play, tremendous amount of snaps a year ago. And KJ Daniels would be somebody else. Jacob Jordan as well, as far as the young guys are concerned. And excited about them. It's a group of guys that really showed maturity, saw them get better, saw them at times play a little inconsistent like a lot of young players. Sometimes it's mindset, sometimes it's fundamentals, sometimes it's a sense of urgency, but I love the group of guys. Coachable, really talented. You got size, you got speed, you got length. You got a lot of the things that you want, and the toughness too. They'll take on the disposition of their coach, and Emmett does a great job bringing out the best in guys, and he's tough and demanding on them, but we try to recruit guys that want to be challenged and are looking to be coached and held accountable, and Emmett does a great job of that.
Yeah, Brent, Deion and Bauer took their official visit together, going through the transfer cycle. Anything stand out about that visit, and when did you guys as a staff know that these are guys I need to be part of the 2024 team?
Yeah, really both of them on the phone. We'd already done the film evaluations, and I didn't meet Bauer in person until he came on his visit. I did meet Deion, and both of them through several conversations, Deion more than Bauer. Prior to coming, they had let us know that they were coming. So, and which tells me they're, not everybody's like that, but it tells me they're serious about being successful. They're looking for the right things, and they were attracted to, again, the hard work, the development, to be at a place like Oklahoma, and again, both of them turned down several really, really good programs, and they've been great leaders since they've been here, and how they work, how they show up, how they compete, their investment, doing a lot of little stuff right off the field, in their recovery, in their nutrition, things like that, and they have shown an appreciation for their opportunity as well. So you always appreciate that, and both of them have been very humble and allowed. They've got great self-awareness, so they recognize when they're not doing things as well as they need to, and hard and demanding of themselves.
Brent, you've mentioned Kani Walker is maybe the most consistent cornerback through fall camp. Maybe just where have you seen him maybe grow or change the most from last year to this year, and how helpful has that been given that Gentry and Woody have been slightly baked up?
Yeah, focus, mindset, his willingness to show up every day with a competitive, tough-mindedness to him. He's developed high standards for himself, no excuse mantra, if you will, and he's been consistently he's shown up. So, he'd be the first one to tell you that he'd have a pull, he'd have a headache. There was always something, and so he's grown up a lot. His ability to handle life. And the problems are real. Don't get me wrong. The things that he's dealt with as a young person. Many young people don't have to go through the things that he did. But raised by a single mom, and man, she's so tough and just a wonderful lady. But he's really just matured and toughened and hardened up, and has high standards for himself. He looks at himself, I think, different. And I think that's important through that maturation process. That's allowed him to show up every day, and just do the basics at a really high level, day in and day out, and don't get bored with it. And that's allowed him to really continue to develop his skill set, become a really good corner. And again, us coaches, we're going to still coach him and correct him, but he's immediately taken responsibility, knows what he did wrong when those things happen. So that's just, again, he'll continue to get better from the beginning of the year to the end if he continues to have the same hungry, driven, humble, ambitious mindset, which he's displayed that.
Brent, you spoke about Grayson Halton after the game, but I think of the team's 6 sacks, 4 of them came from defensive tackles. Just what does it do for a defense when you can get that kind of pass rush from interior guys, and how hard is it to kind of be consistent in that regard?
It's really hard. The challenges from an offensive line standpoint are only going to continue to get more and more difficult. But getting knocked back, getting disruption, not allowing the quarterback to climb in the pocket, moving him, quote unquote, off the spot, if you will. That's disruption that you need to be a successful defense. And so those guys, their ability, their explosiveness, their athletic ability, their strength at the point of attack, their ability to continue to move their feet, will allow us to have a chance to continue to improve and get better and be a successful defense. So being able to get off of blocks is important. Some guys are just disruptive and they're not great at getting off of blocks. Our guys, have the athletic ability, but they also the skill to play quick and be able to get off blocks and be able to make plays. Up to this point, again, it's a small sample size, and they pass that test, and there'll be many more tests as we go along. But I think having confidence in the system and liking to play, you would think everybody likes to play. That is definitely not true. And our job as a coaching staff is to identify people that like it, that are passionate about it. I think that makes it a lot more fun, even through the challenges of development and trying to fight for success. That's enjoyable. Even if you're not having a great day, at least you're dealing with people that like it. They they have the same vision that you do. They show up to practice and they're excited to go dominate this moment. They, go have a great walkthrough, go have a fun, engaging flex, and then, they like to quantify winning and losing in every competitive situation, whether that's inside, that's team run, that's third down, that's a 2-minute drill. They want to win and want to win bad, and that's infectious. Now, our job as a staff is to identify that, bring out, we want to nurture that, but you can also develop it to a certain degree, but some guys don't like it. It's going to be hard. And believe it or not, there's some guys that don't like it. So, we try to avoid those kind of guys in the recruiting process. And then sometimes they come in, they're a little bit immature and they're ultra talented and they don't love to be strained, but man, they can really play. And so you have a little more tolerance for a certain amount of time, and then you gotta get them better. And you do that by holding them to incredibly high standards, and then you want to try to inspire and motivate them too. I think a good coach can figure out, what those buttons are and try to get the best out of them. So not an easy chore.
Far left, Mason.
Yeah, Brent, sticking with the defensive line, I wanted to ask you about Domonic Williams. What did you see in his debut, and what did you like about what he put on tape Friday night?
Yeah, and I think just one more follow-up question. I think having competition brings out the best, in guys as well. It pushes guys. They recognize that in order to play, and earn that trust, you got to outperform the other guys too. Domonic was really good, man. I love Domonic. He's a guy that likes it. He likes to be coached. He's a very communicative, relational guy. So he's going to ask you how your day's going, how your family is, before you can ask him how his day's going and how his family is. He cares about people, cares about his teammates, cares about his opportunity, cares about what you think of him as a player, and then really hungry and driven. He's willing to work and strain, and then that group as a whole, that's a group as a whole that's really transformed over the last couple of years. And you always worry about, the maturity of the rest of the group when you bring in other really talented guys. How are they going to receive it? You hope they receive it the right way, which is, show up and, be at your best every single day, and then also be a great teammate and help the new guy. And our guys have done that. And that's for a coach, that's really gratifying. And that makes it a lot of fun, as well. Those guys really care about each other, but Dom has given as much as he's taken in a very short amount of time that he's been here, and I've said that a lot in front of y'all that we're looking for doers and givers, not guys that are just about taking, and seeing what they can get out of their opportunity here, and so that's his motives, leading the leadership council yesterday. That the talk was about having motives that are pure. When your motives are focused on the right things, this is a game that will give you favor, and if you live life with pure motives, if you will, life will give you favor as well. And so he was one of our leaders in there, and his motives again are pure, and it doesn't mean you can't. I'm not looking at people that want individual success as a bad thing. That, to me, that's a byproduct of being focused on showing up, doing your part, busting your rear, having humility, great self-awareness, and then, inspire and bring out the best in your teammates, and maximizing this small window, very, very, very small window that you have to play the game. And so he's somebody that epitomizes that, in my opinion.
Second row middle, John Hoover.
Yeah, Brent, I'm sorry, I got a bit of a long question. We got a lot of visuals on Friday of Ty Hatcher. I think it was Ty Hatcher over there with the quarterbacks, and he's got the iPad in his lap. They're all huddled around him, gathered around him. I wonder if you could talk, both, he's new for you, the iPads are new for you this year. I wonder if you could talk about kind of and describe how that role, what those guys are doing on game days during the defense is on the field, what those quarterbacks are looking at, what they're talking about. If you could describe how that's different this year, and then what kind of Ty's role is as well.
I think there's probably, if you analyze the iPads as opposed to no iPads, if you ask me, I'd rather not have them. And the reason is because I think if you got a good eye for just what happened, who was in what spot, who wasn't in the right spot, gives you a potential competitive advantage on figuring it out. Doesn't mean you're going to win or all of a sudden all the bad things are going to go away, but I do think that can be a competitive advantage without the iPads. I think it neutralizes a lot of things. I think what you got to be careful is not overload information. Most of the time, I think it's affirmation. Yep, that's what I thought, you're too wide. Or, oh, that's what I thought, you didn't block the backside backer. And so I think it's a good thing, just, when it's all said and done and everybody, I think it's good. The NFL, for whatever reason, they did just the still pictures. And again, I just think you got to be careful without too much overload. A lot of times, so Seth's upstairs, so Seth is talking to him. Ty is, and Ty is a good young coach, and he's helping in all kinds of ways. He's also facilitating, a conversation that's being taken place, making sure that they're on the same play and what have you, and the read progression, things like that. So, excuse me?
Are you happy with how it went?
Yeah, I didn't think there was any issues, I didn't look at it a whole lot. I watched it in person, That's all what just happened. Somebody gave up penetration on the A-gap, and a quarterback had to throw it early or whatever. But it's an excellent resource that everybody has now. And I think that you just kind of like the transfer portal has created more parity. I think this will be another thing, like maybe a guy that doesn't have great field vision, that golly, he figured it out on Sunday. Now he can figure it out in real time on Saturday. And so probably helps, create more parity. I know in breaking down a play, you would think that it definitely would, have more parity as a byproduct. Mm-hmm.
Time for a few more. Third row right, Eli Letterman.
Hey, Brent, we across the country this weekend saw a lot of first-year guys starting games, making plays. You and Jaden start Friday night. Do you sense a difference in 2024 in the readiness of some of these first-year players than maybe 5-10 years ago, whether it's enrolling mid-year or what they're doing before they get on campus?
Yeah, because I think that's because the rosters, there's so much turnover. Again, 5 years ago, you had a third-year player that plays like a grown man compared to that guy, and then maybe you had depth that played at a much more consistent level than a first-year guy. And now I think it's probably normal that you see somewhere in that 30 to 40% turnover almost every year, if not more. And so those first-year guys have to play, and maybe they came with previous experience. And so that helps them. There's still a learning curve, as we all know, for the reasons we've already spoken about. So, I think it's the norm now. The first-year guys playing pretty good. And again, it's compared to a lot of other first-year guys playing pretty good too. Does that make sense? I mean, that's not spending a whole lot of time thinking it through, but you are forced to get more new players, first-year guys, more ready. Some of them happen to be freshmen that are incredibly talented, and like I said, it's not just talent. It's talent plus the other things: maturity, focus, willingness to put in the work consistently. their ability to adapt to a new environment, an unfamiliar environment, their ability to take the fundamentals that are critical to play at a consistent level and be able to, apply them within the schemes. And that's what a guy like Jaden Jackson, as I said, we spoke about him a week ago, his block rec, his ability to play with low pads, his lack of wanting to see where the ball is, that a lot of young players, they want to see where the ball is. Sometimes old players do it too. We did it last year on defense. Our linebackers and defensive line, when we didn't play well, we're getting nosy trying to make plays and see if I can cheat the system. And you get exposed quickly when you do that. Every once in a while you can make a play, when you don't value, doing the little things right all the time. But, Jaden plays with, fantastic eye discipline. But that's how I see, why you see more and more first-year players playing significant roles.
Okay, left side, third row, Cliff Brown.
Yeah, Coach, Taylor Tatum generated a lot of excitement with the fans over the weekend. Obviously, he can run, and this kind of goes into what you were just talking about. But he's a true freshman, and a lot of times with true freshmen, it's not just the running the ball, it's the other things that may get them on the field or keep them off. Mm-hmm. How is he in those areas other than running the ball?
Yeah, he's been good. Marco says he's smiling too much. And so I'll let some point in time Taylor tell you about that. But Taylor is incredibly talented. He has a light inside of him that you spend 5 minutes around him, you're like, man, I like this guy. He's an easy guy to pull for. He likes to play. He likes the locker room. He likes to compete. He's incredibly, talented. Where he's got to bridge the gap of all the little details and things of that nature that, again, he didn't get here until the summertime, played baseball all spring. And but he's done a really good job, all things considered, of you don't, again, he only played a few snaps, and we threw him in there on the special teams too. He did well with his opportunity and will earn more of an opportunity, and he's been pretty good so far when it comes to the things that we just talked about, what you asked about, the ability to focus, the ability to starve the distractions, if you will. And there's a lot of them on a college campus, being away from home for the first time, and lock into the details. I can't tell you what his where he is in regards to showing up and doing extra all the time. I don't know where that is. I just don't know that yet. Just such a small amount of time. But there's a component of, again, recovery, nutrition, sleep, extra film study, on your own or with your other teammates. But he's been diligent so far in the things that we've asked him to do. And like I said, he shows up over here ready to compete every day, and he doesn't shy away from his opportunities.
Far left, Curtis Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, Brent, it seemed like Kendel Dolby was all over the field Friday night. What makes him a good fit for that cheetah position?
Yeah, again, he plays big. He's really skilled, but he's got great natural instincts for the game. Incredibly competitive, physically and mentally tough. He can cover man-to-man. He chews up a lot of grass quickly. Some guys are really fast, maybe on a watch, but getting from A to B incrementally slow. And he knows most of the time what the right angle is. He's a physical tackler. He gets guys down. He's a real speed to contact player. And then he's becoming more detailed. And, a year ago he got thrown into the proverbial fire from corner, to, not playing. And I spoke about this, a month or so ago, why we put him there right away. And then we had some guys get injured, Justin Harrington and then Desan. And he immediately we moved him inside because we were like, well, we felt that because he played that in junior college too, mainly inside, had safety, and then in the slot. And immediately, showed that he had a knack for that. And but again, like I said, he plays a lot bigger than his stature. Y'all interviewed him maybe a week ago or so, and you can see he cares about his opportunity, cares about his teammates. He's put in a lot of work. He's become a better student, than what he was. That was a challenge that we identified, a year ago. Hey, man, you need to show up. Everything that comes out of our mouth, you need to write it down. Let me see your book. So I'll read his stuff to his book. Sometimes it might embarrass him. Like, hey, man, look at yours and look at Johnny sitting next to you. Now who's serious about their opportunity? I already told you what you should do. I've lived a little life, had success, have sat in here with whatever player, and there's somebody before him and somebody before him and somebody before him, and you can name countless players that have had an elite level success and what their habits look like. And so getting people to buy into that is not always, I do think it's an art. You can make them do it, write it down, and they'll do that, but you really want, again, their motives to be aligned with your motives and being like, man, so you can make the game be slow so you can play this game a long time. And so and I know he's a guy that wants to play. He loves to play the game. He wants to play it a long time. And so I think that you've seen this growth from the moment he got here to where he is, today, and this maturation. He would tell you he's a more mature young man than when he got here a year ago. And his level of details is in a different place with still all this growth in front of him. And I really believe that will happen based on what we've seen up to this point. And he's one of those guys that just drive you crazy a year ago because of his lack of details and the lack of precision on doing the little things right over and over and over and over habitually. And he's in a better place now with still room to grow. And I love Kendel Dolby. Everybody likes him because he's super competitive. He's just always got a upbeat, positive attitude. Nobody in the building doesn't like Kendel Dolby. And even the offensive guys who he's over there jaw-jacking with and competing with. I mean, he's competing to win every single rep, and I love that. And every once in a while, he's still, when they're not taking the reps, you turn around there. I'm the gossip police, guys that want to, have fun and, just conversate. And I don't know what the hell they talk about, to be honest. I'm like, how are you not? I just said it's 3rd and 3. So I'm constantly, trying to hold them accountable. And just what you're really trying to do is you're trying to create an environment. And we're closer to the environment that we want. We're a lot closer than we were a couple of years ago, but there's an expectation and an environment that you don't want guys to do it, out of fear of getting chewed out. You want to have them do it, out of fear of failure. If I don't lock in and take a mental rep right now, then I'm going to let everybody down, certainly let myself down and miss out on this amazing opportunity that I have. That's what you really want as one of their motivating factors. And so he's a guy that I bring that up only because, man, he was way over here, just several months ago, and we're in a better spot. And but he's one of those guys that's like, squirrel over here, squirrel over there, He's just like you're over here. And he's better than what he was, and I think that's why you've seen him improve and get better too.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, y'all have a good one.